Hi guys, Max here, and today we're going to be talking about Simba. Now, he's been granted access to my account, being part of the KCP. Now, this is just a small review, some information about Simba. I know he's out in the game, the crystals are out, so if you got lucky and have him as a 5-star, then congratulations. Or haven't opened any of the famed crystals for Simba from the event store, and thinking or considering of trying to hunt for Simba, well, here's going to be some reviews, some thoughts about him, if you should be going for him or if you should be passing and then focusing on somebody else. So let's talk Simba. First, we're going to cover his abilities. We're going to talk about his talents. We're going to talk about his awakened abilities here inside too as well. So first, it's the core ability. That's always important about the character. And with Simba, as he's fully immune to stun, which is nice and beneficial, especially when there's guardians. If you leave him alone and he's playing on its own by the AI, a lot of the times they get stunned. They take on a lot of damage when they're stunned. So this is really good by Simba, so you don't have to worry about him getting stunned and then just taking tons of damage in the corner when you're not paying attention. The second thing is Simba resists 30% of any basic and heavy attack. Now, this basic and heavy attack is specifically to only 2 classes, which is the melee and the tank. And this right there alone right there is huge for Simba. But that is what actually, for me personally, kind of turns me off about Simba. I would have really loved if he wasn't just specifically for 2 classes, melee and tank. I found myself trying really hard to find melee and tank guardians to test him out, to kind of really see that 30% resistance, and it is very noticeable compared to other guardians. I left both Simba and another tank guardian just run freely and be controlled by the AI, and Simba definitely was with a lot more health as opposed to the second tank guardian that I was using. But again, that was noticeable when I was fighting against a melee or another tank guardian inside. So I wish this would have been a little bit more open to all guardians, all classes, but I get it. Maybe too OP if that was specifically to all. But if you're fighting yourself in a situation that you have and you already know that there's a melee and a tank in there, then you know that Simba is going to be a great addition to your team for that. It doesn't stop there. He's really built against these 2 classes, melee and tank. Inside his special abilities, we're going to see what that kind of entails. And again, we'll see that is specifically countering melee and tank guardians. Simba deals 400% damage to enemies in front of him and gains an indestructible buff and lures all enemies for 5 seconds. So keep that in mind because that's really important. And so he's basically, as soon as he launches it, he's indestructible and he's bringing everybody towards him, which is nice because if you're stuck in a fight and you just want the enemies to get away from you, as soon as you launch Simba's special, they're all going to be attracted to him. So while Laura is active, he's immune to knockback except from special abilities and gains 15% armor when hit by a heavy attack or a special ability from a melee or a tank. So of course, when he's being lured and the enemy has a special or they're trying to do heavies or trying to focus on the attack, he's getting to gain 15% armor, again, only on versus melee and tank. And that's the one thing that I don't like. I wish it was not just specifically to them, but here we are, we're seeing it again, specifically to the melee and the tank class. And when his lure expires, Simba knocks back all enemies inside in a circle around him. Really nice feature. Again, probably needing a break. This is good that it's not just, again, knocking back only melee and tank guardians, but it's knocking back everybody around him because he's luring everybody to him, but he's only getting the armor on those 2 specific classes. Now, his signature ability and his strength of his signature ability. So it says Simba deals 200% damage to the enemies, knocks back by his special when hit again by a melee or a tank. So we're seeing this again. Enemies while Enlura is active, Simba gains a 20% attack buff if you have him at signature 100. But at signature 1, I think that's where it's at, he gains a 10% attack buff. So as long as he's got his signature ability, so as a 4-star, you're gonna be gaining some attack buffs when being hit while lure is active. Now lure, keep in mind, is only active for 5 seconds, so it's a quick lure. Ideally you want to be, if you know you're in front of a tank or a melee or near one and you're launching your special, you want that 20% attack buff added. That's gonna last for 6 seconds, and if you get hit or knocked back or a special or just any attack by these 2 classes, you're gonna be able to stack these up to 3 times. So Simba does become quite strong when Lure is active by the melee and the tank class. Now we're gonna be taking a look at his talents. Inside his talents, we have pretty much all of them unlocked, and not all of them leveled up, but the ones that I found myself using the most, again, is Bright Strike, so granting 16.50% attack at the start of the encounter. We also found myself using when an enemy is attacking Simba, other allies' basic and heavy attacks deal an additional 42.63 damage to that target. So again, really specific. So if Simba's being attacked by a guardian, and here comes another guardian of yours, and you attack it, that guardian that you're using for that attack is going to gain 42.63% damage. And then also Simba gains 15% armor at the start of the encounter. The amount of armor Simba gains from his special abilities increased by an additional 8.57%. I had these 3 active because, again, these 2 bottom ones are specifically for only melee and tank guardians. So if you are using Simba and you know you're using him specifically around the fact that he just shines against melee and tank guardians, then you do want to focus on these 2 bottom talents and actually level them up. But I'll read them to you. It says, when Simba lures expires, melee and tank enemies adjacent to Simba become dizzy for 8 seconds if they are not already dizzy, reducing their chances of landing basic and heavy attacks against other allies by 42.63%. And each time Simba is hit by an attack from a melee or a tank enemy while Lure is active, other allies gain 8% armor. Again, so specific to melee and tank, and that is why I don't have those active. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I'm excited to see everybody else's review on Simba, and I just don't like that feature. I get it though, it's gonna be strong when using against the tank melee class. Maybe we're gonna see some content in the future. Maybe I'm not there yet because of my level of account progression, where I'm actually fighting these very strong, difficult melee and tank guardians. I understand melee is one of the hardest and most aggressive and also strongest attackers out there. So maybe for that specific content, he's gonna shine. And again, maybe that's where it's at. I'm not at the level of difficulty where I'm really benefiting from Simba. So does it mean that I shouldn't go for him? No, I think it means that I don't need to rush to get him leveled up, but I should have him in my account as a option, so I can slowly grow him. Even if I get him as a 3-star or 2-star, I kind of keep focusing on him, leveling up as much as possible. But what I think finds and is very interesting about Simba is his traits. Those are extremely important inside this game. Traits have been noticeably changed recently with the adjustments to dungeons and how that is being played. Traits on guardians are going to be very important for you to use. So here we can see that his traits are going to be medium, loyalty, goofball, and leader. So let's actually go out and take a look at what that means in game. So we're going to be taking a look at the first class, which is royalty. Inside the royalty class, I think Simba is going to shine. He's going to shine extremely well because there's no tanks at all. All they have is the melee. They have a couple of range guardians, or actually 1 range guardian, and a few support guardians. So Tiana, Belle, and Evil Queen. Currently leveling up Evil Queen just to see how she performs in this tower. But there's no tank, and he's going to be the first tank to be added into the game for the royalty tower, and I think he's going to be really well received, as there was much needed of a tank inside here. Now he's not just royalty, He's also a leader, and this is where I think he's definitely not gonna really well perform. There's lots of royalty leader guardians inside the game at the moment. A lot of great leader guardians that just kind of outshine, or maybe building a different team that I don't see him being used. I think Mr. Incredible is probably a better use here if you're using it specifically for the tower. When it comes to your guardians, or if your dungeons you need a specific team, I think this is good. Again, maybe we're seeing encounters where it's going to be specifically a bunch of melees and a bunch of tanks, and then yes, you're gonna want to bring Simba. So that's why I always keep that option in mind ready, that you might have him needed. So definitely don't, this is not me saying like don't focus on him. I think he's still needed, and you know, just maybe not right now for me, for at least me. When it comes to the goof boss, I think that's also another area that he is gonna be important for. We do have other tanks like Baloo, like Genie, like Oogie Boogie, and then also now Wall-E. Here, specific, it's got to be specific where he's needed, but I feel like Wall-E is actually a overall better tank out of the two guardians that came out. Even though he doesn't heal naturally from other sources, his signature ability, if at 4-star, is gonna help. But I think he's just a stronger tank. When I think of a tank between the current two new tanks that are introduced to the game right now, Simba and Wall-E, I think of a tank that performs like Wall-E. You just want to leave him alone. He gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and he provides some help to your team. Where Simba, he's getting stronger specifically to two classes. And again, that has to be if we're fighting certain champions, like in certain situations. I think that's where Simba's gonna shine. But guys, those are my thoughts on Simba when it comes to him currently being added into the game. I think his traits are extremely important. I think this is what makes him shine and what makes him actually be really good. You know, overall, his abilities, his talents, everything that he has, going from kind of bumped at the moment because those are focused around specific classes, but his talents his traits might be what makes him really important, unless we start seeing some very incredible hard content that is focused on just tanks, a bunch of tanks in there, a bunch of melees, then he's gonna shine as well. But at the moment, for me, or my progression of account, he just doesn't really shine. Like I said, I've actually, speaking of my guardians, let me just share with you when it comes to my tanks, because tanks, I look at the game right now specifically on traits and then also classes, and this is my tank class. I was at level 50 with Mr. Incredible, and I was playing Mr. Incredible, and I was testing out Simba, and I was like, you know what? If Wall-E was possibly level 50, I would probably take him. And I decided to take Mr. Incredible to level 60, and I think I'm gonna focus on Mr. Incredible as my tank, and then my second options are probably gonna be Wall-E and Maui. I'm also considering Baymax. I know a lot of people's favorite, but those little two guys right there, Maui and Wall-E, that they're so low, level 20s, probably gonna be my second focus right now between the two. Kind of really interested in playing more Wall-E, but I know I need Maui again, and it's gonna be because of his traits, because he's a seafaring trait, and I need that. So guys, those are my thoughts on Simba. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would be reading those and looking forward to everybody's gameplay and more information to come on Simba. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.